Julie Ryan, noted psychic and medical intuitive, is ready to answer your personal questions, even those you never knew you could ask. For more than 25 years, as she developed and refined her intuitive skills, Julie used her knowledge as a successful inventor and businesswoman to help others. Now, she wants to help you to grow, heal, and get the answers you've been longing to hear. Do you have a question for someone who's transitioned? Do you have a medical issue? What about your pet's health or behavior? Perhaps you have a loved one who's close to death and you'd like to know what's happening. Are you on the path to fulfill your life's purpose? No matter where you are in the world, take a journey to the other side and ask Julie Ryan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. I'm Julie, your host, and I'm so delighted you could join us this week. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to people all around the world by helping to answer life's unanswerable questions. We've got a whole bunch of callers on hold, so I will get to them in just a second. First, I want to just send love and hugs and best wishes to everybody on the West Coast with those fires. Holy mother, they are just something else. I think in California, they're the worst they've ever been. So we have friends that have been affected in Oregon and also in Northern California. And then here at home, Sweet Home Alabama got smacked with Hurricane Sally last night through the whole Gulf Coast of Alabama over to Pensacola. Up here in Birmingham, we're about 3 hours north of the Gulf, and we had some rain and wind, but most of the really bad weather stayed south of us. So a lot of those people are underwater. Again, we have a lot of friends that have been affected down there. So lots of good wishes and prayers and hugs to all those people too. We are in what's today, the 17th, my little brother Jonathan's birthday. I have a brother Jonathan and a son Jonathan. So happy birthday to my brother John. And I just wanted to let you know my class for January is starting to fill up. I think we have 4 or 5 people that have signed up already. The October class filled up, I think, in June. So that's a game changer for any of you that are interested in getting more abundance in your life, in every area of your life, and being able to communicate with spirit and do what I do. Consider taking Angelic Attendant training. We've had close to 100 people go through so far, all walks of life, from doctors and lawyers and scientists to housewives and construction workers and whatever. And it's just a blast. And we all stay in touch on a private Facebook group, and we get together once a month too, which is great. So it's an amazing community. So if you're thinking about that, go ahead and sign up, because that class is going to fill up. It'll be full probably a month ahead of time. So Angelic Attendant training, consider that. All right, let's go to the phones, and I believe our first caller is Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Let me get Vicky here. Hi, Vicky.
Hi. Can you hear
How
me?
are you, girl? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. Please tell everybody where you're calling from.
Noonan, Georgia.
Did you guys get any of that weather last night?
Yes, we got a lot of rain, and it's still cloudy, but I did see a little bit of sun this afternoon, so hopefully tomorrow will be clear.
Yeah, we can go down to the Gulf and help those guys bail out water.
I know, the pictures look horrible.
I agree. So, well, you got a question for me?
I do. My father is 90 years old. He recently fell and was in the hospital for a week or so, and they needed to do an operation on that leg, but his heart was not strong enough. So they've sent him to a rehab, and they're in Midlothian, Texas. And before the fall, his mind was not great, and he had some dementia there. And I was wondering if you could scan him to see if he has started transitioning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Because,
what's his name,
the way
Vicki?
He's been talking. I'm sorry?
What's his name?
John Denman.
John. Okay. And the way he's been talking has been a little odd.
Yes, he sees people.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't talk to them. He's scared of them. So I'm not sure if they're angels or he's just seeing things.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't communicate well. It's all he communicates is, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here, and I love you," and that's all he can, in his mind, all he can think to say.
Well, what a wonderful thing for him to be able to say.
I know.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
always recognize his wife, and on the phone he doesn't really recognize, there's 3 girls, and he doesn't always recognize our voice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh. Okay. What I'm going to do, Vicki, is I'm going to raise my vibrational level to the level of spirit, because we're all spirits attached to a body having a human experience. And when we're attached to a body, we vibrate more slowly simply because the body has mass. So when I raise my vibrational level, I'm able to connect my spirit into yours. So I'm going to do that. It's going to ricochet from Georgia going back to Texas and hook into your dad. So here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading over to you. All right, got you. Heading back to Texas now. So I use you kind of as the conduit to get to your dad.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
He is in phase 6 of 12 of the 12 phases of transition. Do you know what that is?
I was reading them today, so his circle is forming.
That's right. Everybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, the 12 phases of transition are what everybody goes through. We all go through that as we're dying, as we're in the dying process. And it's a configuration of angels and deceased loved ones and the spirits of deceased pets who surround us as we're dying. And Vicki, it can happen instantly, like in the case of a homicide or suicide, or it can happen over days, weeks, months. So phase 6 of 12, what it looks like is the spirit exits through the top of the head, out of the body, and it hangs on as somebody's dying, and it looks like a bubble that you'd see in a cartoon caption, where the words of that the cartoon character is saying,
Right.
they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then his parents, spirits are at his feet. They anchor a horseshoe of angels, and there are 2 angels on either side of that spirit bubble on top of his head. And then there are other family and friends spirits that have started to arrive as well. I call that the Welcome to Heaven Committee. And so as he gets closer to death, that horseshoe will expand, eventually being a straight line across his feet. There will be a vortex that opens above his head. Actually, that's what the question this week is, that I'll read in a little bit. And that helps the spirit evacuate from the body. You can see these different phases of transition. There are graphics on my website, AskJulieRyan.com. And so if you just go to the 12 phases of transition, you'll see those. And also I talk about them in detail in my book, Angelic Attendants, what really happens as we transition from this life into the next. And it has lots of stories of families with whom I've worked, and a lot of miraculous things that happened with those families. So it's really heartwarming. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend reading it.
I have read it.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Hopefully it'll give you some peace.
Can you ask him if he's ready?
Yes, absolutely. I was just going to say that there are 3 questions that I always ask. So, John, are you ready to go? Yes. Are you in pain? No. He's saying no, not really. That's exactly what he said. What do you need? Something crunchy to eat is what he said. All right, like what? Like nuts, or what do you want that's crunchy? Like a Nestle's Crunchy Bar, or what? What do you want?
Snickers.
What do you want that's crunchy? Yeah, does he like chocolate? He's saying nuts with chocolate on them.
Yeah, he loves Snickers.
Well, there you go. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
So give the man some Snickers. Yeah, take him some Snickers. And it's so funny what they ask for. So, yeah, you can just ask, Vicki, just ask God, the spirits, your deceased loved ones, what phase is Dad in? You're going to get an answer really fast, then refer back to the chart, and you'll be able to get a visual. If he starts going through the phases quickly, Vicki, you'll know that it's imminent. Like I said, it can happen instantly. It can take days, weeks, months. So look for the little miracles as you go through all of this. They'll be plentiful. And are you going to try and get down there?
I am.
Okay,
I am. We
good.
just got back, maybe 30 days ago.
Good.
And so I will probably go back shortly.
Okay, great. All right, well, good luck, and, look for those little miracles. Okay,
Right.
Take care.
Thank you so
Bye.
much for taking the
You're
time to
welcome.
talk. Thank you.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
my pleasure. My pleasure. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to Chelsea next. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Julie.
How are you?
Can you hear
girl?
me okay?
I can.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Tell everybody where you're calling from, please.
I'm calling from Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay. And you got a question for me?
Well, I do. Do you want me to ask the question or kind of sum up what's going on and then ask the questions? It's kind of a three-part question.
Right. Sum up so that everybody knows, and then you can ask your question. That would be great. Actually, you know what, Chelsea? Hang on, because we're going to grab a break here real fast. Everybody, you're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan show. We'll be back right after the break, and I'll come back to you, Chelsea. So hang on a bit. Welcome back to the Ask Julie Ryan show. We're taking callers right now, and we're talking with Chelsea before the break, and Chelsea's in Asheville, North Carolina. So, Chelsea, please tell everybody what's going on in your house, in your family.
So I'm calling because my daughter's teeth have been decaying since before she turned 1 year old, and just to be clear, she's not on your standard American diet. So her 4 top front teeth decayed, and then her 2 first-year molars. And at the time, I was told everything from my breast milk's contaminated to nutritional deficiency from when I was pregnant to genetics and even emotional. And right before she turned 2, we had to have 4 caps put on her 4 front teeth because we were told if we didn't, the decay would go into her nerves. And within a few weeks of her caps being put on, they turned yellow, and they look like they have almost decay on the caps or plaque on them. So not any of the dentists we've seen or doctors we've spoken to can really figure it out at this point, and I don't really trust Western medicine anyways. So I'm trying to figure out what was the cause of her decay in the first place, since I've been told so many things. And then with her caps being yellow, if there's anything we need to be doing to help her oral health stay healthy with her caps being yellow and then her 2 molars that have decay that we haven't put any caps on yet, and we're not really willing to, given the fact that she seems to have a reaction. I don't know if it's a reaction to the dental material that was used or what. So I was hoping you could clarify some of this for me, Julie, because again, I don't really trust Western medicine given all the different opinions we've been given. And I want to make sure she's just as healthy as she can be.
Have you taken her to one of the university dental schools? Probably University of Tennessee is the closest one to you, right?
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, I would get her seen at a university dental school. Where they're going to have, or at least get somebody who will review her chart on that. Let me get her on my radar. I'm going to connect to you, Chelsea, and then I'll connect to her. Tell us what her name is, please.
Her name is Davina Singer.
Davina. All right. So I'm going to connect to you, and then I'm going to connect to baby Davina. And she's 2.5 now?
She is.
Okay. So she's big and bossy, probably, and doing all kinds of tricks.
She sure is.
Yeah, she's probably doing math problems. And I loved when you said, yeah, and she doesn't eat the standard American diet. And I'm thinking, so you're not feeding her Twinkies for breakfast? That's probably a good thing.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
She loves, sauerkraut and seaweed are her two favorite things. So she's not eating a whole lot of sugars.
Wow. Okay, well, the sauerkraut's a red flag for me. Maybe a fermented thing that, is not necessarily a good thing for her. Let me see. So I've got her on my radar. So I'm asking Davina, may I have your permission to scan you? I'm talking to your mommy. She's saying yes. That's good. A lot of little kids say no, which is pretty hilarious. But let me see if I can. It seems to me like there's obviously some kind of enamel problem. Or calcium problem in the teeth, right? Is that what the dentists are saying?
Yeah, I mean, they basically blame my breast milk overall, but I think her front teeth was related to a lip tie that she has, but I don't know the cause from her molars. And then some other dentists just, they go on, well, what are you eating? Well, we're not feeding her sugar. They haven't really... unfortunately, the dentist realm doesn't really seem to deal with the other realms of nutritional deficiencies or wherever that could come in. So we do have naturopaths we've been working with who do see it as an enamel thing and trying to build that. But I'm just trying to figure out with her caps, because we're going to see another dentist next week, what kind of intervention she needs, if anything, on her molars or her caps, just to keep her in the best health possible and her oral health well.
Yeah. When you mentioned sauerkraut, that was a major red flag, Chelsea. So I get that it has to do with her gut biome. I'm going to do a DNA scan on her real fast. I'm getting enamel and calcium, obviously. I don't think we need to be rocket scientists to figure that out. There have been 2 strands of DNA that have come out of her chromosome. The chromosome is an X because we all have X's. It's come out to her left, my right, as I'm looking at her. And strips of DNA, which is the recipe that tells the cells how to behave, look like pieces of paper that you'd see in a fortune cookie with their fortune written on it. And there are 4 letters, a combination of 4 letters on a strand of DNA. They represent nucleic acids, A, T, C, and G. So I'm watching those get rearranged, if you will. I'm watching them get resequenced. DNA has mutations. Very small percentage comes in hereditary. I think I've heard between 3 and 6%, but it's normally something that she's been exposed to, some kind of an environmental something that she's been exposed to. So I'm watching those get resequenced. The first strand's already gone in. The other 2 are resequencing. Second strand went back in. Third one's about ready to go back. Third one's gone back in. The X goes back into her body. Hopefully that will help. Your naturopath that you're working with, I would do a gut biome test on that baby girl and find out what's going on in her gut, because what I'm getting is too much fermentation. And I would stop the sauerkraut. I would not give her anything. I would keep it low on the food chain, keep it bland, nothing fermented at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, we know she has a gut issue with reflux, probably because of the tongue ties that you also know about. So we're hoping when that's released, that will help her gut.
Yeah, I would do that. I would get her gut tested. If you shoot me an email, chelseajulie@askjulieryan.com, I'll send you the link for the gut biome test. And you may want to submit that and just see what her gut biome looks like and see what her superfoods are and what foods to avoid. And that I think can give you a lot of information. Yeah. So anybody that's listening that wants the gut biome test, Julie@askjulieryan.com. You can order it. You don't need a doctor's order for it. And it's a little bit of a discount on the link that I'll send you. So I would do that, Chelsea, and find out what's going on in her gut. Because that's where the immune system is based. So that's going to be
Right.
really helpful as you go forward anyways, because you're going to want to keep her immune system healthy. Welcome back to the Ask Julie Ryan show. We're talking to people from all over the country and abroad, and our next caller is CB. Hi, CB.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so
How are
much
you?
for taking my call tonight.
You are most welcome. Please tell everybody where you're calling in from.
I'm calling in from actually Atlanta, Georgia, although I live in Athens. I'm currently the primary caregiver for my mother, who lives in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Well, terrific. You guys didn't get very much rain either, like we didn't either. We kind of escaped it, didn't we?
We did get quite a lot today, but I'm extremely thankful it wasn't like the coast got. We've seen enough of that over the course of time, so I'm very thankful for what we got today.
Exactly. Same here. Well, you got a question for me?
I do. So back in April during the pandemic, my husband and I both read your book, and we're just felt so blessed and mesmerized, and thought to ourselves, if we ever need her, we're so thankful to know where to find her. Little did we know that by the end of the pandemic, my 77-year-old mother would literally go from being active to unable to leave her house because of the immobility for the 100+ days. So she is currently bedridden, and I am her primary sole caregiver and have been for 3 weeks. And I truly believe she is going through the phases. She has seen a few spirits, and I can just tell things are happening, and I'm just wondering if you can scan her and kind of let me know where she is in the process.
Absolutely. Please tell everybody what her name is, CB.
Her name is Helen Chilton.
Helen. Okay, Helen. All right. So I'm connecting to you and from you to Helen. She is in phase 9 of the 12 phases of transition. Again, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, this is a configuration of angels and deceased loved ones who surround us as we're dying, whether it happens instantly, like in the case of a homicide or suicide, or whether it takes days, weeks, months, even years. CB, there's a gal that called into the show for a couple of years named Kathy from Dayton, and her dad was in phase 11 of 12 for 2 years. He had Alzheimer's. It was really a long haul for that family. But phase 9, what that looks like is her spirit is hooked onto the top of her head in that bubble configuration I was talking about with Vicki, our first caller. She has angels on either side of her spirit bubble. There is a horseshoe, kind of a open horseshoe of angels with her parents at her feet, their spirits, and then other deceased loved ones' spirits are there too, and some deceased pets too. So let's ask her, Helen, are you ready to go? Yes. Are you in pain? A little. What do you need? Just my family. That's pretty typical of what they tell us. So God bless you for taking care of her. And what I was telling Vicki earlier, you can just ask out loud, ask in your head, CB, what phase is my mom in? What phase is mom in? You're going to get an answer. It's going to come in within a second. And then you can refer to the chart that's on my website, AskJulieRyan.com. And if she's moving through the phases kind of rapidly, then you'll know that she's progressing pretty quickly.
Right. Well, thank you. I
hope that helps.
Blown away with all of your book and your information. I've been studying your website, and I truly think that I'm probably going to take your course so that I can at least, if no other reason, be able to embrace this phase of life for others in my own life. And I just thank you for everything that you're doing for people, for humanity.
No, you are so welcome. Would you be so kind as to leave a review for Angelic Attendants on Amazon?
I'd be glad
anybody
to.
else,
On the Amazon,
anybody else,
or does it matter where?
on Amazon would be great. Anybody else that's listening, if you'd be so kind as to leave a review for Angelic Attendants, and also for my children's book, Angel Messages for Kids, Angel Messages for Dogs.
Today.
Oh, you're gonna love it. It's darling.
I'm very excited. Thank you so much for your time, Julie. I really appreciate
welcome.
what you're doing.
Good luck with
people.
your mom. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
The sequel children's book, Angel Messages for Dogs, is coming out the end of next month, the end of October, and I've approved all the graphics in the illustrations. It is just darling. Wait till you guys see it. It's just so cute. So my illustrator was cute when we were doing the project, and she said my two favorite things to draw, dogs and angels. So I hope you're gonna love it as much as I do. All right, let's go back to the phones. Our next caller's Agata. Hi, Agata.
Hi, Julie. How are you? I'm on a speakerphone.
Good.
I hope it's no. I mean, I'm on a headset. Is that okay or?
Yeah, it's great. We can hear you just perfectly.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome. Please tell
again,
everybody where you're calling in from.
I'm calling from New York. It's wonderful right now. Beautiful. Late summer.
Wonderful. Are you in the city?
Yes, but we had a heat wave pretty much the whole summer, so this is a great relief. This is
good.
So good.
Oh, good. Are things starting to open up?
Yes, it's actually much better. It's getting much better. You can see traffic. People are finally coming out.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, terrific. You got a question for me?
Yes, dear. Okay, this time it's for I'm being altruistic. It's for my boyfriend, my wonderful boyfriend who gave me permission, and he's here. So he had long story short, he had a stricture in his urethra area. It was like a tissue that built up. He had problem urinating. So he got this cleaned up with surgery. It was cut open, and the problem is that after the surgery, poor guy is on catheter already for 3 weeks or so. After the surgery, now there are like, there is another blockage. We don't know where. Even though they were doing ultrasound and they don't know where, but there's apparently a blockage. We don't know if this is his prostate gland swollen or what is it, what's blocking it. So I'm just like, before they cut him open again, is there a way? Do you feel like there is a way? Is there any other way, or do you see anything? Pretty much.
Okay. Please tell us his name.
Eric.
All right, what I'm going to do, Agata, is I'm going to connect to you and from you to Eric, and I'm going to ask his permission because I never scan anybody without their permission. Yeah. So I'm going to ask him telepathically. Even though you cleared it, I believe you, but I still need to ask. Yeah. That's for me, just from an ethical standpoint. Yeah. So here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, up to you in New York City. New York City! Sounds like that hot sauce ad. And, all right, got you. Okay, go on to Eric. Got Eric. Eric, I'm talking to, I got it. He goes, I know it's fine. Okay, good job setting that up. Okay. All right, so I'm going in. Yeah. Let me see what's going on. So he's been catheterized for 3 weeks. Is he doing a straight cath or is he on a leg bag?
Leg bag.
Oh, yikes. Leg bag. All right. Oh, poor baby. Yeah. All right, so it looks to me like it's a prostate thing. And what I'm doing is an energetic, what's called a TURP, T-U-R-P, transurethral resection of the prostate. If you Google TURP, you'll see it. It's a procedure that's done outpatient. They do it all the time, like many, many times a day all over the world. And what it does is it basically shaves some of the prostate when what happens is it pushes on the urethra and it doesn't let the urine void. And believe it or not, it's a byproduct of anesthesia sometimes. If you ask the urologist about that, They don't tell you that going in, and they don't even tell you unless you ask. But I know several men who've had this problem after they've had surgery, and they've had to go in and do a TURP afterwards. It's a side effect of the anesthesia from his earlier procedure, is my guess. So
you see, oh wow, that's so interesting. Okay.
So what I've done is I've shaved some of that prostate, like, if you had an apple and you were shaving some of the skin off with like a carrot peeler to make it. So I'm seeing it that he can void now. If they want to do that procedure on him, it's not a big deal. They do bazillions of them every day, and I think it's gonna work really well.
Really, you have a good feeling about it.
I do.
That's so good. So basically, that's what you think they would do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think they'll want to do a TURP on him, especially if they're not seeing any blockage.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what happened is basically the problem was they took out the catheter and he couldn't pee, and I thought maybe he's just like his muscles are weak because for such. Okay. So
I think it's the prostate.
Quick question. So will they have to like go in and cut him open again?
They do it They do it through a scope, and they do it outpatient. Right. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Okay. Not a big deal.
As always, talking to you is amazing. Really.
Oh, well, tell him we hope he feels better.
You helped me with so much with vertigo. You're fantastic.
Are you all better with that now?
Yes.
Good. Well, thanks for calling. Everybody, you're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan show. We'll be right back after the break, so stay with us and we'll take another caller. Welcome back to the Ask Julie Ryan show. We're talking with people who have all kinds of fun questions, and it's always fun to see what they are and see what the answers are as well. Our next caller is Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia.
Oh my gosh, hi.
How are you?
Off speaker. Hi, Julie. Wow. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome. How's your evening going?
It's going great now. I'm speaking with you. It's all meant to be. I can go on forever, but I won't. I want to make room for other people. But I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York, and I have a question about my mom, and I have permission to speak on her behalf. Yeah. Mom has always been super active. She's 87, but acts, like 57 or 47. Very strong, very stubborn, and is always walking everywhere. Super independent, and this last year has been really rough for both of us. She lost her sister, her roommate, her soulmate, and we were with her when she passed. And after discovering your book, my God, it all makes sense, like what happened during hospice and everything. So we were with her, and thank you so much for writing that wonderful book, because it just makes everything so clear. Anyway, I'm a little nervous, and I don't know why. Anyway, beginning of the year, Mom, all of a sudden, my aunt passed away last August, in 2019. Beginning of this year, Mom wasn't feeling well. She had gallbladder surgery in February. She recovered, of course, and then because of COVID, we locked her up for 3 months. Wouldn't allow her out, and now we discovered with all sorts of doctors in Western medicine that she has a moderate compression fracture in her back and pain in her arms. Oh. And she's just miserable. Modern medicine says she has osteoporosis, common at her age, but they want to do all sorts of scary things like injections and hormones and putting on all these pills. And she's been so natural her whole life, and all of a sudden this happens. So I was hoping you can scan her.
Absolutely. What's her name, Sylvia?
Her name is Maria.
Okay, Maria. All right, here we go. I'm coming up to you. Two New York City calls in a row. We're hitting the jackpot.
I know.
How about that? You and Miss Agata. All right, so here we go. Here comes my laser beam. Got you, and going to your mama, Maria. I'm talking to Sylvia. I know it's just fine. Okay, good job setting that up, girl. Okay, so Maria. All right. Energy is going to her back because just for time's sake, I'm going in there. I'm gonna do a healing on her skeletal system too here in a second. But I just we're just gonna. Okay, I can see where it is. It's like where I'm seeing it. Sylvia is right at about her waist, a little bit above is where I'm seeing the stress fracture. So I'm squirting in some stem cell energy. You know those crazy glue little squirty things with the nozzle on it. So I'm squirting it in that crack, and then there's a vortex that's spinning above it. That's gonna set it, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do her whole skeletal system. So I'm pulling her whole skeletal system out of her body. Like, she looks like a skeleton that you'd buy at the Dollar General store, at Halloween. And I'm dipping it into this big vat of stem cell energy. Stem cell energy, Sylvia, looks like light amber colored gel. It has sparkles in it. Of course, because it's woo-woo. You got to have sparkles when you're doing woo-woo, right?
Love that woo-woo.
And it has a watery consistency to it, and it reminds me of Dippity Doo. Are you old enough to remember Dippity Doo hair gel?
Yes. Yes, I'm old enough.
Reminds me of Dippity Doo, which is hilarious because, the hair gel today is thicker and stickier than Dippity Doo was back in the 60s. So I've stuck her whole skeletal system in there. I'm putting her skeletal system back in her body. There's a vortex that's formed above her head, in front of her, on either sides of her, and behind her. This spinning, this vortex, is the centrifugal force transforms the stem cell energy into new body parts. And it's amazing. I've watched it regenerate whole organs before that show up on scans sometimes. And I've had doctors call me and say, all right, what are you doing? And how's this stuff work? And so I explain it to them. And what's happening is what our bodies do every day on their own. Every cell has a nucleus. The nucleus is surrounded by cytoplasm. Cytoplasm's a watery gel. It's like Dippity Doo. And then the cytoplasm, what happens is it spins. Our bodies act as like little mini nuclear reactors. And that's how we divide and replicate cells. So I'm just watching it happen in warp speed for your mom. So hopefully that will help her heal quicker, and hopefully it will help her whole skeletal system.
May I just ask a quick question? I discovered you from Dr. Christiane Northrup, which I adore. And with her so many wonderful recommendations, I just also discovered, my gut feeling is that my mom might have a magnesium deficiency. I don't know why it just came to me, and I just wanted your opinion on it. And I've been, it can't hurt; it's natural. And because I've been taking her to physical therapy twice a week. She's been feeling better, loves it, jokes around with everybody in the room. She's like the mayor in that huge physical therapy spot. You can only imagine. A really cool, wonderful woman. So my question is, I'm not sure how to treat her. The Western medicine does scare me, but they do have a purpose. They give you numbers or whatever. But her gut is thank you so much for the healing. I'm so grateful. But as far as how to treat it, do you see anything with her gut? Because she feels it there as well.
Email me, Sylvia. I'll send you the link. Anybody else listening, I'll send you the link to the gut biome test. Get that done. It's a fancy name for a poop test. It's going to tell you what the best foods are for her to eat, what foods to avoid, everything. Eat this a lot, eat this a little. I do get she's lacking in magnesium. You'll know when she's had too much because it'll give her the runs.
Yep.
So have her back off.
The whole research. I'm so grateful. I've scheduled a 1 hour with you, and I'm hoping something opens up sooner. But I am so thrilled about it, and I'm very curious about this course that you're giving. So I will email
sign up
for more info.
Dr. Northrup took it. She loved it. Dr. Northrup loved it. I've had several physicians take it, and they use what they learned in the class in their day-to-day practice. So, yeah, anybody can do it. Everybody has the ability. Would you leave a review for Angelic Attendants for me, Sylvia, please?
I will
on
be
Amazon.
happy to. Thank you so
I would
much.
love that.
Thank you so much.
It'll help others find this information. It's usually people in most need of it, when they've got a loved one who's dying or they've just lost somebody close to them.
It's so comfort, because I was also with my dad when he passed like 10 years ago, and it just all makes sense. All the people read the book, yes, and I'm going to write this in a lot better format on Amazon. Thank you,
thanks
Julie.
so much.
I look forward to going to physical therapy, Mom, and seeing how she feels and all that. I'll email you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sylvia. Take care. Everybody, you're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go back to the phones and see who's next. Stay with us. We're going to go back to the phones, and I believe our next caller is Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I am calling from Minneapolis, and I actually took your class. I'm one of the alumni from your class. I took the class, I think it was back in April and May, and I cannot say enough about how fabulous that class is. I was listening to a couple of the other callers thinking about taking it, and I'll tell you, it has probably been one of the absolute best things I could have ever done, period, in terms of my growth as far as the work that I do, and just I've already helped a couple of people with their parents transitioning as far as helping with identifying their phases, and I just can't say enough about the class. It's just awesome and just wonderful. So I just want to thank you for everything that you've done, because my life has just changed so much, and the people I have met. So thank you so much for that.
Well, you sweet thing. Thank you so much for saying that. And everybody, I promise I didn't call her and ask her to come on and say that stuff. So
Nope. And also, you're probably aware of this, but I know you're aware of this, but because you talked about that Facebook page for the alumni, that is just, I love that, because there's great resources. We have the alumni run a study group page that we do, and Julie has nothing to do with that, but we just meet independently, and we get together, and it's a great way. I've got so many friends from around the world and in this country because of that study group, and then doing that alumni class that you offer, for alumni afterwards. I just feel like I have a whole new world that just opened up to me as a result of it. So there's so much support even after you've taken the class, and I just can't say enough good things about it. And everybody that is in our study group, and we all feel the same way. We just feel like we have all these friends that we could literally just walk into their home and feel so welcome because of meeting through these classes. So anyway, Thank you.
Yeah, and it's a blast.
I'll get to my question.
That's the thing that I hear the most.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Miss Julie. I'm calling from Minneapolis, and this is very different. A couple weeks ago, August 23rd, I was driving home from Wisconsin, just coming home from the woods. And I was in the passenger seat in the back. I was behind. My husband was driving. My daughter was in the front. And I was looking out the window, and I looked in the beautiful blue sky, and all of a sudden I realized there was a cloud formation that had just come together. And I kid you not, it was the shape of a smiling witch. And I have shared this picture with a few friends, and it is, you cannot miss it. I mean, and then it is absolutely a beautiful witch that's smiling. You can see the shape of her mouth, her nose, the hat. And I turned and I took some pictures, and I turned and talked to my husband and my daughter, and I looked back out the window, and it had disappeared. It was gone. And I just thought it would be a fun thing to see if you could tune in and see what was the message behind the smiling witch in the sky, or who sent it to me. Or was it just a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences, but what do you get for the witch in the sky for me?
I saw the picture because you put it on our Facebook page.
Oh, did I post that? Okay.
Yeah, you put it on our group's Facebook page. And the thing I started to say a minute ago about these classes that everybody, and again, we've had close to 100 people go through so far since February of 2019. And these were all divinely guided. I mean, you know that story, and I'll tell that another time. But the thing that people tell me the most of is how much it's changed their lives, but how much fun it is. They go, it is such a blast. We have so much fun. And I tell people that, and it sounds crazy, but it's true. So I did see the witch's cloud formation. You're right. You could see her hat and stuff. What I got was that it was, you know, we're coming up on Halloween, so witches are going to be around a lot. And that witches, I think, have been maligned throughout the generations. And the whole Salem witch trial thing and what went on in Europe and all of that. And most of those women were healers. Mm-hmm. You know, they were healers. They were using herbs, and they were using energy medicine, and they were doing stuff like that. And they were healing. And then, especially when medicine started coming in, and you know, the medical schools and stuff, they started getting persecuted. And it's interesting when you look at the history with the medical schools, because they all had a lot of this energy medicine and herbal stuff in them, and then the AMA and some other organizations wanted to standardize it, and so they started really bad-mouthing people that were doing things that didn't involve surgery or medicine, and that's where the industrial complex came into play. I do believe that Western medicine and Eastern medicine all has a role in this, with the energy medicine as well. But I just got it that it was something that was fun for you to see, and for you to remember that you're like a witch, but there's no negative connotation there.
I do identify myself as a witch, and I'm pretty sure I've got at least one or two past lives of that, being that little old lady in the woods that people would talk to. So it was a fun thing to see. So, okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing that with everybody. Thanks for the plug for the class. That was great. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Julie.
Talk soon. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All righty, let's go to Carolyn next. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi.
How are you, girl?
Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. Please tell everybody where you're calling from.
I'm calling from the Bay Area in California.
How are you doing up there?
Well, we got clear skies finally.
Oh, gosh.
Which is wonderful. It's been a while. It's been a while coming.
My gosh, those pictures, Carolyn, those orange skies. I think Portland was even worse than where you are. And
I can't imagine it being any worse. I can't imagine it being any worse, because it was just terrible here. It was just horrendous here. But anyway, and that may be part of my problem, my question, when we get to it. My question is, I had what I call an episode. I don't know exactly what it was that I had. I thought it was a low blood sugar, because I went to the beauty operator, and when I got out of her chair, I got completely dizzy, was totally disoriented, thought I was going to pass out, and I barely made it out to my car, and I got 2 glucose tablets and ate them really fast, and drank some water, and ate a protein bar, and I made it around the corner to the grocery store, and got a sandwich and a Coke, and drank the Coke really fast, and ate part of the sandwich, and I felt a little bit better and made it home. Mm-hmm. Well, the rest of the day I didn't feel good, but then I got better. But then a couple of days later, I was also out, and I had a similar episode, and I did the glucose tablets again, and I was able to make it back home. the third time I had this, I was also out, but I was eating at the time because I was with my family, and I was eating and I was drinking, and it wasn't as severe as the other two episodes. But that time I was sure it was not from low sugar. So I don't know what it is that I'm having, that I'm experiencing. I don't know if it was from the ash, if I'm having a reaction from the ash that it was affecting my lungs, because I do have asthma. Any clue?
Okay. Yeah, let me get you on my radar. By the way, Bay Area, people from San Francisco say the Bay Area and people from California, but to those of us around the rest of the country, Carolyn's in the San Francisco Bay Area because there's lots of bays in the country. You guys are funny out there with that, Carolyn. It cracks me up. So here comes my laser beam to the San Francisco Bay Area for you, my girl. And got you on my radar, shooting energy. Yeah, you got a bunch of soot in your lungs. Holy mackerel. I'm going to suck that out while we're talking. Do you have diabetes?
Well, I did have diabetes, but just before I had the cancer surgery, my sugar went super low, and they took me off the diabetic medicine. And since then, my excuse me, my sugar has gone up and down, but mostly stays down more than up. So I'm off of my diabetic medicine.
Okay, so you've got low blood sugar, is what it sounds like.
Now I'm experiencing more of the hypoglycemic than diabetic.
Have you done the gut biome test, Carolyn?
I sent for it, and it arrived the day before I went in for my surgery. So it was on my computer, but with my company here that took care of me and me here, it got lost on my computer. It got erased.
Okay.
So I wrote to them and told them I lost it, but they didn't respond.
Yeah. So I would order another one. Email me, julie@askjulieryan.com. I'll send you the link. It's for a little bit of a discount. I would get that going on. What I'm getting is to increase your good fats. So avocado.
Increase my good fat.
Avocado, coconut oil, olive oil, that kind of stuff.
I have avocado every day, breakfast and lunch.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Carolyn. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Got a whole bunch of people on hold on the phone, and I'm going to get back to the phone in just a couple of minutes. But just first wanted to remind everybody we do this show every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific. The call-in number is 712-775-7035, and the access code is 483-620#. Now, this information is available on my website, AskJulieRyan.com, and in the show notes, anywhere you download podcasts. We're also on YouTube and Alexa. So when you're downloading a show, please remember to subscribe and leave a review, because I love to hear from you, and let me know how we can make this show better. I do my best to get as many people on as I can each week. All right, call-in details each week can be found on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at Ask Julie Ryan, and I'll post a reminder each week on Thursday saying, hey, remember to call in. And while you're on my website, AskJulieRyan.com, be sure to sign up for my newsletter, and that's a reminder too that if you have a question, you can call in. And then each week I'll send out a blog, and it's a question somebody has submitted online along with my answer. You can schedule an appointment with me there on my website. Then we'll have a whole hour to talk about whatever you want. It can be a combo platter because, you know, I am a buffet of psychicness. So we can talk about medical stuff, pet stuff, oh gosh, deceased loved ones, how close to death somebody is, past life stuff, talk to your angels, your spirit guides, whatever. And it makes it really fun. We laugh a lot, even if you got something serious going on. I promise it'll be fun. So everything you need to know can be found at AskJulieRyan.com. When you go on to schedule an appointment, I'm booked out for a couple of months, so go ahead and get on my calendar whenever you can. And then on your email that you're going to get, that's a confirmation, there's a little button at the bottom that says reschedule. Click on that periodically, and it's going to show you when other appointments that are sooner open up, because people reschedule all the time. And normally people reschedule and then that appointment opens up and somebody comes and takes it before I even see it, because I usually check emails at the end of the day. So it's already rescheduled by the time I get to it. So that's the best way to do it. All right, this week we got a note from Heather, and Heather lives in Fairfax, Virginia. And she said, "Hi, Julie. I recently saw your interview on Inspire Nation. I was especially drawn to your explanation about the dying process as well as the energy vortex that occurs at the end of life when the soul separates from the body." No coincidence, we've had several people call in tonight and ask for me to help them figure out what phase of transition their family member was in. It always works that way. I always find it fascinating. This is the question of the week, and then we get other questions on the same topic. She then said, "The reason I'm interested in your statement about how people can go through the phases of transition very slowly is because my mother has been dying for 10 years. She was really sick, almost died, and then came back different." I've heard that a lot throughout the years. When somebody, it's like they have a near-death experience, or people think that they die and they come back, and their personality can be different. She said, "I've been watching her progressively fade away from dementia for a decade. My mother's a very spiritual person and taught me a lot about psychic sciences when I was growing up. I've never understood why her soul would choose a death like this until I listened to your interview. I think her slow death might have something to do with our relationship. Can you tell me what stage she's in and how I can learn to see the spirits that are with her?" The other reason I found your explanation of the vortex interesting was because when I was 19 years old, I had a boyfriend whose father died. I was in the house when the family gathered to say goodbye. The father waited until everyone from out of town arrived and then died 5 minutes later after the last person showed up. Later, his daughter showed me her rings. They were flattened on one side. She said she'd been stroking her father's forehead when he died. She hadn't noticed anything at the time, but when she washed her hands a little later, she realized all her rings had been flattened. Thanks for your help, Heather. I thought that was wild, you guys. I had never heard anything like that before, but it made sense if her hand with the rings on it was on his forehead and the vortex was happening, even though people in the room might not have been able to see it or sense it. Obviously, the rings are a testament that it was spinning and it was happening, and it has a tremendous amount of force. It feels like at the end of a car wash when you stay in your car and you're going through the car wash and the dryer turns on and the water's getting sucked out of your car, off of your car. That's what it feels like to me. So here's my response. Hi, Heather. Thank you for listening to my interview with Michael Sandler and for your questions. When connecting with your mom, I saw her spirit is in phase 9 of the 12 phases of transition. Her spirit is out of her body and attached to the top of her head in what looks like a cartoon caption bubble. There are 2 angels on either side of her spirit. Her parents' spirits are at her feet and anchor a horseshoe of angels that extend to the right and left. Behind them are many spirits of deceased loved ones and pets. By the way, phase 9 is when the wings of the angels adjacent to your mom's spirit bubble begin to move. This causes the vortex that will eventually help her body and spirit separate. When researching my book, Angelic Attendants, What Really Happens as We Transition from This Life into the Next, I learned about an aeronautical engineering concept called the wingtip vortex. It seems all flying objects, including bugs, birds, kites, planes, jets, and even angels, get their lift from a vortex of energy that forms under their wings. You guys, if you Google wingtip vortex, you will get thousands of drawings about this aeronautical engineering thing. I was amazed when I saw that. Your mom said she's ready to go, isn't in pain, and doesn't want to be a burden any longer. Perhaps she's waiting for you to tell her it's okay to go. Lastly, regarding your question about learning how to see, I put in quotes, spirits, close your eyes, get quiet, and pay attention to any sensations you get. Intuitive information comes in many forms. Some people see in their mind's eye, some hear, some get a thought, and others feel. I have learned to do all of them, and you can too. That's what I teach in my Angelic Attendant training classes. The only requirement to enroll is you need to speak English. She wrote the letter to me in English, so I guess she speaks English. I ended with sending hugs as you go through this experience with your mom. Look for the little miracles along the way. They'll be plentiful. So I thought that was remarkable, that wingtip vortex thing. The other thing that I can tell you guys, there's a book called Death is But a Dream that validates everything I talk about in Angelic Attendants with clinical studies. So get a copy of that. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll get another caller on. So stay with us. Welcome back to the Ask Julie Ryan show. Let's go back to the phones, and I believe our next caller is Daisy. Hi, Daisy.
Oh.
Hi.
Hold on a second. Hi. Daisy from Ocala.
Hi, Daisy. How are you?
I'm okay. I wanted to ask you something. I'm 67 years old, and I've been having nightmares my whole entire life. But one of them is really, really horrendous. Doesn't happen as often as it used to, but it's like something is trying to get inside me, like something's trying to take over. And I don't know if it's really that trying to happen or if it's a lucid dream. Is there anything you can see?
Yeah, nightmares are interesting, Daisy. Dreams in particular, dreams in general are interesting. And what happens in dreams is our spirits can travel. Actually, it's called astral travel when we sleep. And we're going in and out of different realities. And we try and make sense of what we experience in those dreams, what we remember. We're trying to make sense of that, how it applies to what our frame of reference is in our human existence. And some of those realities, there isn't a frame of reference for it. So when you have a dream that's upsetting, the best thing to do is just to tell yourself, I was out astral traveling and I was in a different reality, and who knows what that is. Everything in spirit form is pure love. There are no dragons, there are no demons, there's no hell, there's none of that. Everything is pure love. And so if something feels scary, it's because you're interpreting it through your human frame of reference from learning about demons and dragons and scary stuff all your life. So just know that it's all pure love. It may just be something from a different reality that we don't have a frame of reference for. Does that make sense?
No. I just wonder because it's been happening all my life, and it's really horrible because I have to fight it and make it go away, and it feels horrendous. And
well, when you resist it, you're going to get more of it. So just say to yourself, oh, isn't that interesting? I was in a different reality, and since all spirit's pure love, there's nothing evil, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing scary here. And then when you come from that perspective, I bet it changes for you.
Yeah, because I also have a lot of that nightmares with water. I mean, they're not in air, they're not on land, they're all related to water, and it's really, it torments my mind to have those things open.
Now you know what to do to make your mind feel better. So I hope that helps. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Take
care. I have an
care.
appointment with you in December. I just didn't want to wait
Yay! Yay!
Looking forward to it.
Take care. Bye,
thank
Daisy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's go to Miss Anna next. Hi, Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can. Where are you calling us from?
Roseville, California.
Okay.
East of the Bay Area I talked to earlier.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? They all say the Bay Area.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely. I'm from the Bay
people,
Area.
people who live in, like, I don't know, Iowa or someplace, they're like, well, what bay is that? So
I know.
anyways.
I'm sure it's confusing to people otherwise.
It's hilarious. It's cute.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. You got a question for me?
I do. It's actually about my dog.
Okay.
I've had this dog for almost 3 years. He's had chronic yeast infections and itchy all the time. He's been on meds. He's on ongoing meds right now. He's had prednisone shots, sidle point shots, and when the temperatures get high, it just constantly, just progressively gets worse. And then when he gets really bad, he starts like snapping at invisible flies. I've had him to a holistic vet, regular vets. He's on a raw food diet. I'm at my wit's end.
Oh, what's his name?
His name is Gus.
Cute. And what kind of dog is he?
He's a German Shepherd. He's my baby.
So he's smart, right? German Shepherds are smart.
A little too smart some days.
We had a white German Shepherd growing up, and her name was Frosty. And she slept next to my mom's side of her bed for 14 years or however long she lived. And when they changed their carpeting in their bedroom, there was an imprint on the hardwood floor of Frosty's body. It was like the Shroud of Turin. It was hysterical. They had an imprint of Frosty on the hardwood floor where she lay.
We have two. One is attached herself to my husband, and this one is mine. So he's my protector and everything. So I just want to know what I can do for him.
I love it. All right, so I'm going to connect to you, and then I'm going to connect from you to Gus. All right, got Gus. I'm just going to clear. He's got yeast. He's got an overgrowth of yeast. That's a huge problem for humans, and especially if it's on prednisone. Same thing. If you're taking steroids or antibiotics and you're a human, you're going to have the same thing. Ask the vet about an antifungal. The one that I recommend for humans is nystatin. It would be interesting for you to research that and see if it's used with dogs. Okay. Ask your vet about an antifungal. Say, let's try an antifungal because he's on the prednisone and it's whacking his gut.
Well, he hasn't had the prednisone for a while. They just, when he gets to the point where he's getting now, we either go to prednisone or we go to a sidle point shot. And everything works for a little while, and then it starts all up again.
Yeah, and that's yeast overgrowth in humans too. Same thing. It whacks the gut. The gut. They get a problem. They get on antibiotics or steroids. It whacks the gut again. It's just this hamster wheel that keeps going on and on. So I would talk to them about an antifungal. Is there anything else I can be doing
for him?
I get him on an antifungal somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best thing. And I've cleared it out of his GI tract, so hopefully that'll help energetically.
Well, thank you. He's just a itchy, poor little guy, just constantly chewing at his feet and everything. It's just all over the place.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I would talk to them about an antifungal. Okay, good luck. Give them a hug for us.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye, Anna. All right, let's go to Arlene next. Hi, Arlene. Hi.
Hello. Hi,
Arlene.
I am calling about my dog Uzo. He's an Australian Shepherd. And he's been having a few medical issues lately. He's about 12 years old. And I was... Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I wasn't sure because it went out. Right now he's having stomach issues. We've had to put him on metronidazole, which is Flagyl, and Pepsid. And also, I was wondering if you could just do a scan on him, because he's got some weakness in his back legs. He does get acupuncture. And I was also wondering if his teeth are bothering him. I take care of his teeth, but I don't know, he just wasn't chewing on his bone the same way anymore either.
Sure.
So
and you said he's...
do a good scan of him.
Sure. You said he's 14, Arlene?
No, 12.
12. Still, that's pretty ancient for a dog. That's good. And how do you spell his name?
He's in good shape. It's just I've started to see some weakness in his back legs, especially his left. And and I just saw him. He used to always want to chew on a bone, and now he's kind of hesitant, and he's very funny about letting anybody, the vet, get near, he's afraid in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have to actually sedate him to actually look in his mouth. So I just said, I'm going to call Julie.
No. What is his name again, Arlene? How do you spell it?
It's Ouzo. It's like the Greek liquor, ouzo, because he's a little crazy like ouzo.
He's not throwing plates, is he?
Yeah, well, you know what? The balls, he's crazy about his balls. So it's like, yeah, they're probably plates for him.
Oh, great. Please tell us where you're calling from, Arlene.
Longmont, Colorado.
Okay, terrific. All right, so I'm going to hook into you, and from you, I'm going to get Uzo on my radar. Okay, got him. Okay, left leg. Yeah, he's like favoring that left back hip, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really,
does he does he act like he's hesitant to put that leg down, that back left leg?
Yeah.
That's what I'm watching. Yeah, that's what I'm watching. All right, let me see what's going on there. He's got a little bit of hip dysplasia. I'm going to put some stem cell energy in there, Arlene, that will regenerate body parts. And it's like we're putting some lubricant in there. If you spray some WD-40 in a hinge and it greases it up, that's what we're doing. We're gonna do a lube job on his back hip. Structurally, it looks okay. It looks like cartilage is kind of starting to deteriorate in there. So I would do that. That's going. There's a Vortex spinning. Again, that's that light amber colored gel with sparkles in it that looks like dippity-doo. Kind of like a watery consistency.
Put it all on there.
Well, I know, baby. Well, let's like just grease up that joint. Okay, doing that. Going into his teeth. Yeah, I think his teeth are bothering him. They're probably going to want to clean them and see what's going on. You got to sedate them for that anyways. So I would get that checked out. And I think that probably has to do with his stomach issues, because when their gums get inflamed and get messed up because their teeth need to be cleaned, that usually can cause stomach issues. Let me check his GI tract. Again, like what I was just talking with Anna, I'm seeing some yeast in his GI tract, so I'm clearing that out. Does he have the runs? Is he having a diarrhea issue?
And he threw up, and I had him at the vet all day. We were talking about giving him fluids. I mean, he's the Australian Shepherd that never wants to stop. He's like the Energizer Bunny. So, when his stomach gets upset, we have a lot of yeast here where I live.
All right, I'm going to need to let you go, but thanks for calling in, Arlene. I hope he feels better. Hopefully this will help him feel better. Everybody, you're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Stay with us. We'll be back right after the break. Welcome back to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Let's go back to the phones, and I believe our next caller is Janet. Hi, Janet.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Terrific. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Lexington, South Carolina.
Okay, terrific. You got a question for me?
Yes, I have a question about a situation with my granddaughter. She talked about some kind of abuse and sexual abuse. And I just wonder if you could zoom in and give me any insight on that situation.
Are you on a speakerphone, Janet? Can you get us off speaker, please?
No, I took you off a speaker.
Okay, great. So how old is your granddaughter, and what's her name?
Her name is Jordan, and she's 9.
Okay. All right. And she was telling you that she had been abused? Did she tell you who did it?
Yeah. Well, yes, she did. And nothing, somebody attempted to, but they weren't succecessful. But they tried. And I just part of me wants to believe her, because you want to believe something like that, but I just don't know how to handle the situation.
I get that she is telling the truth. I believe she's telling the truth. And how you handle the situation is you never let her alone with that person.
Yes.
She doesn't live with you.
Yeah, she doesn't live with me. She visits often.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's a family member, so it's difficult because you don't want to go call the police on a family member. And if I confront the family member, they're going to just say she's lying because certain things have happened before where they think she's lying. But
So
I
keep
really
her away
don't
from
think
them.
she's lying.
Keep her away from them. Keep her away from that person.
So you feel
don't leave
that
her
she
alone.
is telling me
Absolutely.
the truth?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, not a doubt in my mind. Yep. I'm getting a yes. Yeah, absolutely. So just do not let her be alone with that person.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. Get her some counseling. Get her in to see somebody who specializes in that. You want to do that as soon as possible.
Right. Am I able to ask another question?
Let me put you on hold and I'll come back if I have time because I'm going to try and get a couple of other callers on.
Okay.
So I'm going to put you back on hold. You bet. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay.
Get her some counseling fast. All right, let's go to Marie next. Hi, Marie.
Hi. Oh, I'm so happy to talk to you.
I'm thrilled to talk to you. Please tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Quebec, Canada.
Okay, terrific. You got a quick question for me?
Yes, I do. I've been having my period regularly with no problem, and I was hoping it would keep on going for a few years again, but I haven't had my period for over a month, and I believe I have hot flashes, and it's keeping me awake at night. I don't sleep well, and it's triggering another health problem I have, which is anxiety. So I was wondering if you could get me or try to balance.
Sure. How young are you, Marie?
I'm sorry?
How young are you?
I'm only 54 and a half.
It's like a 3-year-old. I'm only 3.5. That's hysterical. All
yes,
right.
and I love having my period. Yeah, I was expecting them to be until I turned 60. I know it sounds weird, but, I'm happy with anyway.
All right. Yes, I shot some estrogen into you. When I see a woman that needs hormones, she kind of looks like a flower that needs a little water that hadn't been watered in a while. Go to drnorthrup.com.
Yes, I know her. This is why I know you.
Yep. Go to drnorthrup.com. She is the fairy godmother of women's health. She will teach you everything you need to know about bioidentical hormones. And then, Marie, you want to call a compounding pharmacy in your area and find out who the doctors are that are prescribing through them. And they'll give you some names, and then you can check them out and see if any of them resonate with you. The bioidentical hormones, for those of you listening that don't know what they are, they're the exact molecular composition of what our bodies make when we're young and fertile, Marie. And synthetic hormones have extra molecules added to their formulas so they can be patented. Those are the ones that cause problems. But the bioidenticals keep your bones healthy, your brain healthy, your heart healthy. And it's just what Mother Nature makes, and it starts to diminish as we age, so we can fool Mother Nature, make her think we're 30 when we're not, and it'll keep you healthy.
Thank you. And I just had an injection for my shoulder because I have a problem with my shoulder, and I was wondering if you can see something and with my anxiety as well, or.
Yeah, anxiety is going to be better when you get on the hormones. The shoulder, the energy went to your right shoulder. Is that the one you had the injection in?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, it looks like it's anesthetized. Like if you push your finger on the opposite forearm and hold it down real tight, and then you lift it up and it looks white, it looks like it's anesthetized. What, did you tear your rotator cuff?
Something happened inside there, yes. I have a tear, but now they're wondering if it's not bursit, or I don't know how to say that in English.
Bursitis.
Like
No, you have a tear in your rotator cuff, so I'm stitching it right now. And
I'm sorry?
I'm stitching it up right now. You have a little bit of a tear in your rotator cuff, and it will heal on its own. You can have surgery for it, but it'll heal up on its own.
Okay.
So that's what's going on. If your arm hurts a lot, Marie, get a sling at the drugstore and wear that.
Okay.
And that will help relieve some of the discomfort.
I cannot sleep on my right side. It's too painful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for calling. I hope you feel better. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Julie on Instagram and YouTube at Ask Julie Ryan, and like her on Facebook at Ask Julie Ryan. To schedule an appointment or submit a question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.
This show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be medical, psychological, financial, or legal advice. Please contact a licensed professional. The Ask Julie Ryan Show, Julie Ryan and all parties involved in producing, recording, and distributing it assume no responsibility for listeners' actions based on any information heard on this or any Ask Julie Ryan shows or podcasts.